With more than 1,000 palm trees and a Caribbean color scheme, the facility projects a South Beach flavor that distinguishes Homestead-Miami from other major racetracks in America. It took a while longer to get the right combination for the racing surface. In its first iteration, the track had 4 separate low-bank corners, reminiscent of a mini Indianapolis. That configuration failed to promote good racing and unfortunately provided bad crash angles. Widening the aprons failed to correct either of these problems. A major reconfiguration of the track during the summer of '97 brought a more conventional layout, sweeping 180-degree corners at either end of the oval, close but still no cigar. Most recent work on the track, during which it assumed variable banking up to 20 degrees in the corners, flattening to 3 degrees on the straightaways, has done the trick. Everyone agrees at Homestead-Miami the beauty is now more than skin deep. Tonight, it's the Vigilante Racing League Round 2 of the playoffs, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Steve with HBR TV, bringing you the playoffs here for the Vigilante Racing League, and more to come here in 2025. But for now, last 3 races of the season in store are going to be broadcasted live here on the channel at HBR TV. Those of you that are unfamiliar, it's youtube.com/@HBR TV and the number 1. Check out the channel, share it with your friends, hit the like, follow, subscribe button. It certainly helps things. Without further ado, let's get to the race details this evening. 133 laps the race distance, 73-degree ambient temperature, 91% humidity, partly cloudy skies, 16-mile-per-hour breeze. It is kind of breezy down here in South Florida, 75-degree track temperature. Drivers have a 70% fuel load tonight, should get them about 32 laps on a full tank, and 4 sets of tires available over the wall. No safety net, no fast repairs tonight, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if, and only if, the drivers need it. See if it comes to it. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Let's take a look at the top times thus far. Larry Dickerson quickest at 32.559 the time. 14 of Dustin Eaton second, Dylan Bryant, Tim Pope, Alan Vaught the top 5. Just about a minute left in the session. Jump right into qualifying immediately following practice. Again, 5 minutes, 2 laps to set the field for tonight's race. Taking a look at the points details. Of course, we talked about being in the playoffs. Here's where we're at right now. You got Pope, Vaught, Bryant, Dickerson, Eaton, Klein, Osborne, and Player. The points as follows. Going to whittle that down and whittle it down until we get a champion. Again, we got Homestead-Miami Speedway tonight, Martinsville at the next race, and then, then Phoenix, the race to follow. Got the elder Albert Anderson in the chat already saying, "Go get him, son." Of course, cheering on Albert Anderson III. Guys, don't be bashful either. Stream chat is open and available. Just keep it PG for the kids. No bickering, no arguing, no fighting. But chime in, tell us who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. Go ahead and ask questions. I try to pay as much attention to it as I can in case there's something I'm missing. Clock at zeros on the practice, though. We're going to jump right into qualifying. Not going to waste any time. We'll see who takes to the Speedway first. And it looks like Andrew Player is going to be the first one to roll. Player out of Concord, New Hampshire. Terry Crouch in the stream chat out of Houston, Texas. Haven't heard Terry Crouch in a while. Funny, Terry. Myself and our buddy Zach Miller were just talking about you earlier tonight, talking about high-end hardware as far as iRacing is concerned. Good to hear from you, man. Thanks for checking in. Andrew Player on the clock. Green flag waves on his first lap. Player out of turn number 4 here to complete lap number 1. Crosses the stripe, locks in his first lap. Second quick on the board, 32.984 as Eaton goes a 9.61. Eaton's first lap, 32.961. Dustin out of Temple, Texas. See if he can pick it up on lap 2. Bit of a lift here in the bottom of the corner. Quickly back on the gas. Nice straight shot out of turn 4. Crosses the line. Does he improve? Does. 32.886, but it's second quick as Player picks up on his second lap. Player runs a 7.54. Tim Pope out of Roseboro, North Carolina. Killer paint scheme on the 7 here tonight. Terry Crouch says the stream looks awesome in 4K. Terry, thanks for mentioning that. We are broadcasting in 4K tonight. If you've got an internet connection that can support it, go for it. If not, dumb it down just a little. Try 1440, and if that's not enough, 1080p will suffice just fine. Go lower if you need to. I don't know if anybody really needs to, but if you do, those options are available too. Pope finishes up, puts it pole position, 32.607. Dylan Bryant, the number 51 Superman colors tonight. Bryant ran a 33.128 his first lap. Definitely a throwaway lap. He's got all the momentum built up for lap 2. Just got to make it stick. We got Lori Vaught in the chat. Says, welcome, Steve. Great to have you with us at VRL. Happy to be here. Really excited for it. The nice thing about this being late in the season, I get to run a couple of races here, kind of get familiar with some more names as Bryant finishes up his second lap. 32.843. Big pickup. Puts him 7th. This way I can learn some names for next season, and I'm not completely in the dark. Kyle Vaught in the number 16. 34.575 his first lap. 23rd quick so far. '14th, 33.014. About a half a second pickup for Kyle. Andrew Cawthon is 7.51, a 33.751 his first lap. Tim Pope still on the pole here, 32.607, the top mark on the tower. Cawthon finishes up, picks it up as well. Big pickup, 33.048, puts him 18th. And that's going to put an end to our qualifying session as the 5-minute clock comes to an end. Qualifying in the books. That'll set us up for our starting grid. So without further ado, let's take a look at it. On the pole position with a lap time of 32.607 seconds, it's the number 7 of Tim Pope. Outside, front row, missed it by about a 1/10.5. Shows you how fast Pope really ran in qualifying. It's Andrew Player starting second. Row number 2, it's Alan Vaught and Jonathan Osborne. Row 3, it's Jason Gaines and Albert Anderson from All-Star Racing. Row number 4, Dylan Bryant and Dustin Eaton. Row 5, it'll be Jack Dixon and Joe Canellis. Starting in the 11th position is Greg Dobson, and 12th goes to Mike Adamson. 13th starter, it's good old Stoney Benfield in the number 75. Jacob Young will start 14th. 15th starter, it's Kyle Vaught. John Adams starts 16th. 17th position goes to Scott Roney, or Ronnie. Again, we're working on the new names here. Andrew Cawthon will start 18th. 19th goes to Greg Klein. Kelly Cool, fresh off a win from Sunday, will start 20th tonight. 21st, Larry Dickerson. 22nd, George Rincon. 23rd starter is John Gallagher. Kevin Hunt will roll 24th. Jeremiah Burke starts 25th. John Curtis, 26th. 27th starter is Dave Mayberry. Russ Kilgore rolls 28th. And last but not least, especially in our hearts, the number 56 VRX Motorsports driver of Benjamin Richards. He'll roll from the 29th position. Your starting grid from Homestead-Miami Speedways. We get ready to roll here. Again, taking a peek at the race details yet again. 133 laps the race distance tonight. 73-degree ambient temperature here as the sun has set here in South Florida. Pretty humid though, 91% humidity, partly cloudy. 14-mile-per-hour breeze. 74-degree track temperature. Drivers have a 70% fuel load tonight. 4 sets of tires over the wall. No fast repairs. And 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if needed. Field rolls away from the grid. 1 lap behind the pace truck before we see the green flag. Oh, Terry Crouch, we're going old school. He's asking who the HBR pick is. This is my first race with this league. There's some familiar names, but I don't know. I don't want to go out on a limb here. Tim Pope on the pole. He's always fast, but I guess I'll make it easy for myself. I'll go with Tim Pope. It's not a guarantee, but odds are pretty good. I like going for the safe bet, not the long odds. Pace truck makes the hard left turn down pit lane as we prepare for the green flag. Marty's got it ready to fly. It waves, and we're underway from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Pope jumps away, but doesn't get a great start. Alan Vaught times it perfect. Great reaction time out of the 33. They're in 1. 13 to play her way up the racetrack and to build a run off turn number 2. Just barely cuts off the nose as 1 truck's in the wall. That might have been the 83 of Gaines. Maybe the 81, hard to tell from here, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Meanwhile, battle for the second spot with 33 of Vaught and Player. They were side by side into 3 and 4. Player working on the outside still, going to have a run down the main straightaway as Tim Pope leads lap number 1. That first lap, it was Osborne that hit the wall off turn number 2. 83 is Jason Gaines. You see him there running 3rd and 4th, depending on where the nose of his truck sits. Pope maintaining the top spot. Alan Vaught running in the 2nd position. Gaines 3rd. Player now 4th. He's lost a couple from the start. John Osborne also down 1 position, but maintaining his spot in the top 5 as he steps on a line, takes a peek to the inside, wants that 4th spot. 81 now, the bottom of the racetrack, just about clear of Player, and that is the case. Player now slipping back to P5. Osborne up to 4th, where he took the green flag from. On board with Osborne. Meanwhile, out front, Pope continues to lead. Only about a quarter-second advantage over the 33 of Alan Vaught. A couple of trucks, to be specific, as they work out of turn number 2. I have found that this racetrack is becoming more and more known for eating tires. That's going to be a factor as this race continues on. Who's going to be able to stretch the tire? When does strategy come into play as far as when you make the pit stop? You kind of do an overcut, undercut. I know I'm speaking road course languages here, but it does apply. Andrew Player has lost yet another spot. He's back in P6 now as Dustin Eaton jumps into the top 5 now for the first time today. Eaton started in the 8th position, making short work here, only 7 laps in, up a few spots and applying pressure to John Osborne. Takes a look to the inside. Osborne up the racetrack. He gets it into the safer barrier, just pancakes the right side. I don't know about a Darlington stripe, maybe a Homestead stripe. That's really a thing, but it's starting to seem that way as these drivers tend to run the real high line here as the race pushes into its middle stages. The 81 trying it out already. Got a little more than he bargained for as he smacked the right side in turns 1 and 2. Still holding off the position for now. Eaton applying pressure. But now Osborne gets the fence again now on the exit of turn 4. Eaton's going to go to the bottom here. Taking another peek here. Really my only way right now to contact you, Lori. Hope you're listening here, but I still do not have the ability to move anybody, so let's see if we can work on that. Worst case scenario, I'll jump over to my Discord and invite guys if need be. We'll make it work somehow. Pope and Vaught still 1 and 2. Nothing really changing up front. I think Vaught just content riding in the tire tracks at Tim Pope, maybe save a little bit of fuel, force Pope to burn up a little bit more as he's got all that clean air, which is great for handling, but not for saving fuel. Eaton settling down in the 5th position as well. Player back in P6. Behind Player is Albert Anderson. Anderson with some familiar colors on his truck tonight, the HBR TV colors. Anderson jumping on doing that tonight. Appreciate you running that scheme. He was not bribed to do so. That was all his decision. But we do appreciate it. Dylan Bryant into the top 10. He's down 1 position, but still maintaining. Stoney Benfield in the 9th spot now, just into the top 10 here, up 4 spots. Kyle Vaught also in the top 10. He's made 5 positions forward progress. Running in the 15th spot. Jeremiah so far seems to have gained the most positions on the field so far. He's up 10, now 11 as he gets clear of John McAdam. Couple more. We got a bunch of stream chatters that have chimed in since this race got green here. We had Kathy A, Edith Anderson, Albert Anderson, of course. We've heard from him a bunch. Let's see. Lori Vaught, we heard from. Derek Welch says hello. What up, Steve? And then Big Roast. Or Roost? Big Roast. Roost, yeah. Roni or Ronnie. I'm still working on the pronunciation there. Slacking tonight or what? Scott Roney, I'm going to go with Roney for now until someone tells me different, is running in the 17th spot right where he qualified. So just maintaining, that's not always a bad thing here very early on. Jacob Young making a move to the inside here, stepped out of line rather abruptly along the 29 of Dave Mayberry. Jacob Young in the number 77. That truck looks pretty good. That's got a very much so Miami feel to it. So, Roni, like macaroni without the mac. Got it. And I'm just noticing he's got Fireball whiskey on board the 023. Who can be mad at that? Making a move to the outside on the 47 of John McAdam. McAdam blinking out, losing connection for a brief moment. Doesn't slow down the 23 at all. Back up the racetrack to have another run out of the corner. Meanwhile, still out front, Tim Pope starting to put some more daylight between himself and the 33 of Alan Vaught. Dustin Eaton up to third. Osborne fourth, Jason Gaines running fifth, Albert Anderson up to sixth. Big Roost has got a question in the chat, says, what was the pole qualifying time? You know, off the top of my head, I have no idea, but the good thing is I'm pretty sure I can pull it up. So let's take a peek. Does it work? It worked. Tim Pope ran a 32.607. Scott Roney ran about 4/10, a little more than 4/10 off of that. Jack Dixon and Mike Adamson battling for position. Adamson in the green number 88. Dixon in the 19 in the high line. Adamson gets clear. Now he starts to work on Stoney Benfield. Let's ride on board. Jeremiah Burke just losing connection there for a brief moment. You saw that 53 machine blink in and out. It's something we talk about a lot in some of our broadcasts. When you see a truck or a car doing that on the racetrack, the first inclination, at least to the newbie, would be, oh, cool, that guy disappeared. I can fill that spot that he just left. Well, yes and no. If he doesn't come back, sure, no problem, go for it. But you don't know if he's coming back or not. Problem is, if you do fill that hole that he vacated, and then all of a sudden he does jump back into the session, and he's going to refill the spot that he left, well, he's going to land in your lap. And that's how accidents happen. Can't have that. Tim Pope extending his lead still now, 1.2 seconds back to the 33 of Alan Vaught. Last lap for Pope was a 34.12. Alan Vaught 34.19. You see the fall off there. Best lap for Pope was at 33.02, at least at race pace. It ran a 32, I think it was a 32.6 in qualifying. But we're already over a second of fall off, just 24 laps in. We are approaching our first round of green flag stops. Like I said, we expected a 70% fuel load, a 32-lap run before they'd have to make a pit stop for more fuel. 4 sets of tires over the wall. I would anticipate, I don't know, you may have a mixture of guys. Some will take tires, some won't. But again, you're going to lose a lot of track position if you go out there with old tires if everybody else bolts on 4. It's going to be rough. Again, guys, my apologies if I'm getting quiet here for a little bit, trying to work on some technical difficulties. As far as Discord is concerned, we'll get it squared away. If not tonight, then certainly by the next race, but growing pains. This is how it happens. No big deal. Meanwhile, Albert Anderson still in the top 10, but has slipped back to P7. And we're starting to see 2 very distinct lines develop here at Homestead. Of course, the ultra-high line, just a few 4 or 5 inches off the safer barrier in the middle of the corner. That's where the speed usually is for 2 reasons. There's a bunch of grip up there, but also it's the longer or wider radius of the corner. So you can carry more speed on top of having that extra grip, though it is the longer way around. See, guys that are in the middle of the corner on the bottom may actually pass, but once they get back to the straightaway, utilizing that high outside line, it allows you to build a lot of momentum, carry more speed out of the corner and down the straightaway. Got Taylor Provax, hopefully I'm saying that right, in the chat. Great night for VRL Racing. It's always a great night in iRacing. It never rains in the oval races, thank goodness. .30 laps in, just a couple of laps away from expecting to start seeing some pit stops here under the green flag. Kyle Vaught cracking the top 10 now as he runs in the 9th position in behind the 51 of Dylan Bryant. Lap 32. When will we see the first pit stops? These guys saving a little bit here to stretch it just a little bit further. Derek Welch in the chat says, dang, Steve, you're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I remember you was in the low hundreds. Yeah, me too. We got a ways to go. We've been stuck in the 800 thing, I think, almost for a year at this point. But starting to bump those up real close to catching 900 subscribers, or followers, I guess you could say. But yeah, that is the goal here for 2025. Try to get 1,000 subscribers to HBR TV. Sure, broadcasting here at VRL can only help. So 34 laps complete. Still nobody in the pits, and here we go. We've got a couple. Jason Gaines going to be the first one to come down. John Osborne, Jeremiah Burke, Andrew Coffin, Scott Roney, John Gallagher, Stoney Benfield. They're leaving the pits right now. And the caution comes out while we're on pit lane here. What do we have? What do we have? Greg Klein having an issue on track. Looks like it as he's slow on the exit of turn 2. Not sure if this was an incident that occurred as he left pit lane. All we can do is check it. Let's see what happened. Just a moment ago, the 92 in front of the 47. And really just way up the racetrack, a little bit off pace. The 47 just drives right in the back. That was John McAdam. I'm going to rewind this a little bit further and get a better look at it. This is going to be at speed here. Now, McAdam had a whale of a run. Looks like he may have put tires on previous to this incident. I think Klein did not. You saw the closing rate as the 92 kept going up the racetrack, and it really left nowhere for the 47 to go. So now the leaders are going to hit pit lane here. It's caution coming into an opportune time right at the green flag pit stop point. Might trap some guys a lap down. We'll see how things cycle back through. It seems like lap 34 was when most drivers were starting to come down during the green flag stops. However, many stayed out. Probably could have stretched another lap or two. So I guess we're going to give our fuel window 32 to 36 laps if we go green all the way through that fuel run. That may change slightly here as we're running some caution laps before we go back to the green here momentarily. So Pope's going to get back out there after his pit stop with the race lead. Alan Vaught will still be second. Jason Gaines third. Now, Gaines made a pit stop just prior to the caution. And I'm looking at it, actually, I think Pope and Vaught may have come down the lap right after getting to pit lane, getting onto pit lane before the yellow comes out, as to not receive a penalty for entering a closed pit. They're back out there with the lead, so that's a positive thing for them. And we got that S4 guy, Zach Millett, in the chat, says, Terry Crouch is my hero. I don't know if Terry's still here or not, but saw Terry jump in the chat earlier before this race got underway, or right as it got underway. Ironic, we were just talking about him today. Pace car lights have gone out. Pace truck, that is. So we should be green this time by. Lap 40 should get the restart. Back to racing conditions. And there it is, green flag back in the air. Pope on the bottom of the racetrack, battle for second. Alan Vaught topside, Jason Gaines, the 83 machine down on the bottom. Caution out yet again. We got a problem. John McAdam, Kevin Hunt involved in this one, in the middle of 1 and 2. A few drivers involved. McAdam, Hunt, and Dobson appears. Well, let's get a look, see what happened here on the restart. Oh, something happened on the bottom of the racetrack first. The 085 of Greg Dobson. Let's get a look there. That's going to be the telltale. Looks like this really started into turn 1. Back of the truck just steps out. Almost had her saved. It was straight, but then clips the 47, and then it all goes south. So just like that, cautions breeding cautions, as they tend to do. Second yellow of the evening is cross the stripe and put lap 2 up, lap 42 up. Greg Dobson in the chat says, lost it on fresh tires, 10-minute repairs. It won't turn left. It's mildly important. And that does tend to happen. I know we just put tires on, and a lot of novices out there might think, oh, you got brand new tires. This should be driving great. Well, yes and no. First turn, first lap, when you go back to green, those tires aren't very warm, which means the tire pressures aren't up either. These teams typically will set the tire pressures as low as they possibly can so that they're at the optimal tire pressure once they get hot. Obviously, tire temperature affects the pressure. Even though they run nitrogen in these tires and not just a standard air, you still get some expanding and contracting with temperature change. So that does pump them up a bit. And until they get hot, or hot enough, they can be a bit of a handful. Especially in these new trucks. The most recent tire model update for these trucks have made them a little bit more of a challenge to drive. Still rolling around behind the pace truck here. Let's try to get a rundown as who is where. Tim Pope, of course, with the race lead. Alan Vaught running in the second position. Third place, Jason Gaines. Fourth is Albert Anderson, and then an HBR TV entry. Dylan Bryant runs fifth. Larry Dickerson is in the sixth position. Dustin Eaton, seventh. Eighth is Mike Adamson. Ninth, Andrew Player. George Rincon runs 10th. Kyle Vaught, 11th. Jack Dixon runs in the 11th or 12th, depending on what lane we're in. Kelly Cool runs 13th. Jacob Young, 14th. 15th, John Curtis. Dave Mayberry, 16th. Jeremiah Burke, 17th. Joe Canellis, 18th. John Osborne, 19th. Andrew Cawthon, 20th. Scott Roney, 21st. 22nd, John Gallagher. Russ Kilgore, 23rd. Stoney Benfield, 75, runs 24th. Kevin Hunt, 25th. Greg Dobson, after his wreck, he's on pit lane here trying to get some repairs made. He's marked 26. John McAdam looks like he's out. Greg Klein still getting some repairs in 28th. 29th, Ben Richards, also not in the race. Pace truck makes the hard left down pit lane as we're ready to go back racing. Pope on the throttle. Those guys behind him timed it perfect yet again. Alan Vaught does a good job, and Anderson pushing the daylights out of the 33 down into turn number 1. Gets him alongside, but not quite enough momentum to get clear. Has to tuck back in behind Tim Pope through 1 and 2. Off turn number 4, Pope continues to lead. He's been dominant here tonight. He's got 46 laps up on the timing tower here, and he's led just about all of them, if not all of them. Not sure if he gave up a lap or two during that caution period with the pit stops or not, but nevertheless, he's led the most thus far. On to turn number 2, field scrambling. Couple of 3 wide battles further back in the pack. Kelly Cool in the 0-1 on the outside. A Budweiser Chevrolet. Kelly running 15th. We got Edson Ochoa in the chat. Says graphics look really crisp. I appreciate that. I think it's more about the 4K than anything, but yes, it does look kind of nice. Kyle Vaught making a move for position on the 28 machine of George Rincon. Good looking truck. 19 way up the racetrack. That's Jack Dixon. Looks like he may have caught the wall a bit in the middle of 1 and 2 there. Not sure, but either way, it was a little bit off the pace. He's going to lose some track position here. Maybe a position to the 43 of John Curtis. Another battle here further back. This is just inside the top 20. Between the 10 of Andrew Coffin, Scott Roney. Roney on the bottom of the racetrack in the Fireball Chevy. Gets clear off turn number 2. Man, these guys are really running the ragged edge on that high line. Still watching this battle here. This is for the now 19th, 18th position. Dixon in the middle of 3 wide, the 81 of John Osborne to the outside. That black and green machine, they're singled out now, but the 19 had a big run down the straightaway. Dixon now tucks in behind the 43. 81 goes way up. Great racetrack here. Love that we've got multiple grooves for these drivers to work with. You can run the top, you can run the bottom, even you can dive in the middle if you got a problem. So wherever you want to make that truck stick and work, looks like it's going to cooperate. Still, this battle continues. Great fight for position between Osborne, Curtis, and Dixon. Osborne continuing to work his way forward. Couple spots here or there. Just inside the top 15 now. Kelly Cool applying pressure to the 28 of Rincon. Right on board with the number 28 machine, looking back at Kelly Cool. This would be a battle for position. Rincon runs 12th, Cool runs 13th. And watch out for Osborne, too. The 81 right behind the Budweiser Silverado. Osborne makes the move around the outside. He takes the spot from Kelly. Osborne on a charge, up to 13th, goes to the high side yet again. Oh, and he gets the wall off turn number 2, though. Just scrapes it slightly. It's not the first time we've seen it here tonight. Tucks back in behind the 28 machine. Kelly Cool now to the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to retake that spot from the 81. Checking on the race leaders yet again, Tim Pope still continues to dominate here from Homestead. Only about a truck length and a half, maybe 2 between himself and Alan Vaught. Vaught closing the gap. Top 4, maybe 5, relatively content being single file. A little bit of action there behind Larry Dickerson as the 14 of Dustin Eaton looking a little racy behind the 69 truck of Larry Dickerson. Dickerson with a run out of turn 4. Might take a peek to the inside on Anderson. Opts not to. Now goes to the high side of the racetrack and to try and build another run. We'll see what kind of speed he carries out of turn number 2. It might be enough to get him alongside the 99, but Anderson closes the door. Doesn't mean the run's not there. Dickerson tucks back in, pulls a draft. Dickerson back to the top. Here it is, crossover on a turn 4. Dickerson with a run. Might have scrubbed too much speed turning down, but he's there underneath the 99 of Anderson into turn 1. 4 position. Dickerson into the 4th spot. Gets clear. Dickerson set that up on entry to turn 3 and completed the pass on the exit, or really the middle of 1 and 2. That's how you have to plan ahead sometimes to make these moves, even on an oval. You've got to plan ahead. Got to have an idea of where you want that pass to happen. Set it up from there. Dickerson got all that momentum on the high side of the racetrack, planned it, carried it down the straightaway, made the move to the inside off of 4, completed the pass in 1 and 2. Textbook. Dylan Bryant steps out of line, gets to the inside of Andrew Player. Just a few laps shy of halfway. And not too much further before we get to another round of pit stops under the green flag. We'll see if we make it that far before the caution comes out. There's no planned cautions that we know of. Remember last round, though, we started to get some green flag stops, and then we got unlucky enough to have a yellow come out right during that cycle. Seems like for the most part, though, everybody managed to stay on the lead lap. Two laps in the books. We're just shy of halfway. We're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break. Get that out of the way, hopefully before green flag stops. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Caution.
Going to break back in. Caution is out. Greg Dobson in trouble here just as we're getting ready for some more green flag stops. It seems to be a continuing trend, unfortunately, as the 085 machine slow going at the bottom of the racetrack. Try and catch what happened here to Dobson just a moment ago. Oh, this happened on the straightaway. I want to back this up a little further. Try and get a better angle on it. Just an off-center push, it looks like, from the 81. Gets Dobson crossed up, sends him down into the 10. Andrew Cawthon. Synchronized spinning down the back straightaway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. That puts us under yellow. Just in time to get some pit stops, so I don't think we had anybody partake in green flag stops. This one kind of coming out at the perfect time. So Pope and Vaught going to hit pit lane here. Likely to be 4 tires and fuel for all drivers up and down pit lane. Right side tire change for Alan Vaught. Sunoco race fuel going in. They drop the jack on the right side. Crew around to the left. Goes underneath. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for Alan Vaught. Drops the jack down and away. 15.127 seconds for Alan Vaught. Pope still beats him out, though, not by much, but it's all it takes. An inch is all it makes a difference here as far as who gets out first. Pope, Vaught, Gaines, Dickerson, and Anderson, the top 5. Caution number 3. We are past halfway here at Homestead. Everybody fueled up. Some brand new sneakers on these trucks. So we operate behind the pace car yet again, and we still, with the exception of the drivers that are out of the race, have everyone on the lead lap still. Dobson probably not. He may still be in this. It looks like Greg Klein's still in the pits. He's been there for about 24 minutes on repairs. May not be returning. The drivers that are out on the racetrack right now still all on the lead lap. Very impressive. With those drivers, we'll go through it yet again here. Tim Pope, the race leader. Alan Vaught, Jason Gaines, Larry Dickerson, Albert Anderson, the top 5. Andrew Player, 6th. Adamson, 7th. Dustin Eaton is 8th. Jeremiah Burke, 9th. 10th is Kyle Vaught. Dylan Bryant, 11th. George Rincon, 12th. 13th, John Osborne. Kelly Cool is 14th. 15th, John Curtis. Jack Dixon, 16th. Scott Roney, 17th. Russ Kilgore, 18th. 19th is Jacob Young. Dave Mayberry, 20th. 21st, Joe Canellis. Stoney Benfield is 22nd. John Gallagher, 23rd. Kevin Hunt, 24th. Andrew Cawthon, 25th. Greg Dobson, 26th. John McAdam, 27th. Greg Klein, 28th. Pace truck lights have gone out, so we are on the 1 to go. Restart coming at lap 72. Pope likely has clinched most laps led to this point. Just doing some math here, even if he gave up a couple of laps in that first round of pit stops, he only needed to lead 67 of them to clinch most laps led. He's certainly done that. Continues to lead. Really haven't seen much of a challenge out of anybody on the 7 tonight. Just got to make you wonder, though. Vaught has been able to hang with Pope most of the evening, at least early on in the run. It's more towards the, I don't know, past the halfway or three-quarter mark of the run where Pope really starts to stretch out that lead. We got Tom in the chat, says, ham it down, son. Pace truck is in. It's hammer down time for sure. Barney with the green in hand. It waves, and we're back underway from Homestead. Big time jump. Alan Vaught timed it perfect. I'm hoping he didn't get there before Pope. Certainly looked close. Through turns 1 and 2, Vaught up the racetrack. He'll have a run down the backstretch. Trouble. The 88 goes sideways. It's Mike Adamson. Gathers it back up, loses a bunch of track position, but he hangs on to it. Meanwhile, out front, Vaught put the nose out ahead of Pope. They're through 3 and 4. This battle for the race lead continues back to the stripe, and the lap lead goes to Alan Vaught. New leader here, lap 73, gets clear of Tim Pope. Now I guess this will be the question. Will Pope run in behind Vaught until it's time to make that move? We still have more pit stops to worry about. We can't go to the end on fuel yet. We're just past halfway. We have a caution on the speedway again. Andrew Cawthon in trouble.
We'll keep working on this thing for you.
10 machine in the grass.
Okay.
May have been some other drivers involved in this. Joe Canellis, possibly. See what happened here to the 10. Maybe this happened ahead of him. There was some sparks flying, and we see it right there. It's like Cawthon just going to the bottom to avoid the mess. Get a better view from it here. Further up. Let's go to the 77. That's Jacob Young. 29 machine just got the nose in. 77 either came down or the 29 went up, and it was just chain reaction crash after that. 77 going for the wildest part of this ride. Rear of the truck getting up into the fence. That'll put us on a caution for the 4th time tonight. So we pace behind the iRacing pace truck yet again. 4th caution of the afternoon here. We're at lap 76. Only drivers needing to make a pit stop here, I believe, are going to be the ones involved in that incident, unless somebody decides to switch things up a bit, maybe splash a little extra more fuel in the race truck, get off cycle on that aspect of things. We got that S4 guy in the chat, says we got 23 watching and only 10 likes. Blasphemy. He makes a good point, though. If you are watching tonight's broadcast, go into it. Click that little thumbs up. That makes a big difference. It's free to do. You don't get a charge or anything like that, but it really does help the channel. It pushes the streams and the videos out to some wider audiences, maybe some fresh eyeballs that haven't ever seen a broadcast with HBR TV. And all the more maybe some racers out there that haven't seen VRL or haven't heard of VRL that might be interested in coming to race with these guys. So go ahead and click that. Certainly does help. If you're watching and enjoying what you're seeing, please help us out. Makes a big difference. So field approaching start finish here. I'm anticipating we get the one to go right here. Cross the line. Yes, lights are out on the pace truck. So next time by, lap 79. We'll be back racing. And we get to see Tim Pope try to execute his restart from the outside with Alan Vaught in control. Alan took over the race lead very quickly after the restart, this last caution. Now we'll see if he can hold off Pope. Let's ride on board with Tim Pope as we get ready for this restart. See when he fires in relation to the 33 here. Does he time it or does he really wait for Vaught to fire?
Green flag.
Certainly looked like Pope went first. I don't know. Doesn't seem to matter, though. Alan Vaught gets clear off turn number 2. 33 maintains the top spot. Pope runs in the second position, and Albert Anderson up into P3. We got Dustin Wade in the chat helping us out too. Appreciate that, Dustin. Meanwhile, battle for the 4th position is a 53 of Jeremiah Burke looking to the inside on Larry Dickerson. Burke in the number 53 Toyota down to the bottom of the racetrack. A little loose on exit at turn number 2, but saves it. It's going to lose some momentum, tucks back in behind to Dickerson. He'll hang on to the 5th position. Meanwhile, here comes Andrew Player. Remember where he started tonight? 2nd. Working his way back through. Seemed fast out of the gate. Fell back into the pack, but now working back towards the top 5. Player running in the 6th position in the number 13 machine, low side of the racetrack. Let's watch Larry Dickerson here. Dickerson is taking that ultra high line. Real close to the wall on exit, big time run. Might have even given Anderson a bit of a bump there on the straightaway. Yeah, Dickerson taking full advantage of the top side here. Building a lot of momentum. Last lap, only about a 10th off his best of the day. Dickerson pushing Anderson down the straightaway, but then swaps back up the top of the racetrack to build that momentum yet again. Anderson's closed the gap on Tim Pope. Pope definitely seemed faster in clean air, but that makes sense for just about anybody. Meanwhile, Anderson going to the bottom, looking for the 2nd position. Pope closes the door. Anderson stays at the bottom, lets Pope go up the racetrack just a bit. Meanwhile, Dickerson still building momentum on the straightaway, closes that gap, gets right in the back of the 99 down the straightaway yet again. Anderson now dives it back to the bottom, making sure that Pope's paying attention to him. Meanwhile, Alan Vogt starting to drive away. Well, these guys battle for the second spot. Anderson back to the bottom of the racetrack. Pope up the middle now as Dickerson goes to the high side. We may have a three-wide battle for second before we know it. Jeremiah Burke running in that fifth position, trying to decide which truck he wants to go with. Right now it's undecided. Anderson seems quick on the bottom. Pope seems to be able to put the truck for the most part wherever he wants. And Dickerson still loving the top. Out of turn number 2, Dickerson advancing forward still, and he takes the second spot from Pope. Meanwhile, Burke loses connection for a brief moment, comes right back in. Anderson to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try and take third from Tim Pope. Not really any adjustments to be made in these trucks as we're running fixed setup races. Pope just not handling as well in dirty air as he was with the race lead. Meanwhile, Alan Vogt still now a half-second advantage on the field. On board with Tim Pope. Tim hanging out of the second spot still. Dickerson doing Dickerson things. Top of the racetrack. Larry Dickerson still working that high side. I don't know how long he's going to be able to get away with it. You might tend to burn the right front off a little bit up there, but so far so good. It seems to be working. Tim Pope might have scraped the wall a bit on corner entry. Doesn't look too bad by any means, just a scrape at best. Trying to maximize that entry the best that he can. Meanwhile, Anderson has slipped back to the fourth spot, and Jeremiah Burke applying pressure to him. Burke up the racetrack. He's going to try and run that Dickerson line. One truck way out of shape on a turn number 2. Not sure who it was. It might have been the 77 to Jacob Young. Big time battle here. This is for just about the 10th position. Jack Dixon, we're watching the number 19. He's up on the high line. He's got the 2 of Russ Kilgore. Was right to the back bumper. Kilgore goes up the racetrack. Going to make it 3 wide? No, we'll stay 2 by 2. 16 of Kyle Vaught to the inside. Tom, that's exactly what you heard. Dickerson doing Dickerson things. Glad somebody caught it. Meanwhile, Kyle Vaught into the 9th spot. He gets clear of the 19. So Dixon's still going to hang out in the 10th position. He's got the 023 of Scott Roney in the bottom, though. Nice 5-truck battle going on for position. This is just about the 10th spot. Again, the 9th place machine, Kyle Vaught, is number 16 there. The 19 is Jack Dixon. Up top in the 2 is Russ Kilgore, then Scott Roney in the Fireball machine, the number 023. And then Mike Adamson, the 88. Then John Osborne, the 81. A bunch of trucks all involved in this battle here, or very well could be. The 81 of Osborne further back, but working the top side as well. He'll be in this picture if he doesn't get into the wall and lose some momentum. Roney going around the outside of the 19. And Adamson on the bottom. We're 3 wide into 1 and 2. Further back in the pack, more battling going on here. About the 20th position. The 1-2-3 of John Gallagher. Running in the 19th spot, at least for the time being. Battling with the 10 of Andrew Coffin. And the 43, John Curtis. '75 is Stoney Benfield and George Rincon battling for position yet again. This for the 16th position. Stoney's got it for now. Curtis jumps out of line behind them. Takes the 10th position away, so move Curtis up to 18th. Coffin up the racetrack. I don't know if he's going to make a move to go around the outside, but stepped out of line for a moment. Maybe got some air on the nose of the truck to make a corner better, but either way, he's going to lose the spot, and maybe another here. Joe Canellis is going to take it away, so Coffin back to 20th. Meanwhile, that battle with Stoney Benfield and George Rincon. Rincon did clear the 75, so move Rincon up to 16th. Jeremiah Burke settled in here to the 5th position. Has not been able to do much really above that position, as Dickerson has fallen back a bit as well. He sits in the 4th spot. Alan Vaught still with the race lead and putting some distance on Pope. This is kind of what we saw in the first half of this race, but the other way around. Tim Pope fired out of a cannon right off the bat. Didn't want to give up that lead for anything. And near the end of the run was starting to drive away from Alan Vaught. Now it's kind of the opposite. Alan got around on the restart, then held off Tim Pope on the restart a second time, and is starting to drive away near the end of this run. One more pit stop going to be needed here before this one's all said and done. This race is going to be won or lost in that department. I imagine we could see somebody take right sides only. I just don't know if that's the right plan here. Again, with the fall off with what it is, we're already 1.2 seconds slower than the leader's fastest time. Our pit stops were made about 30 laps ago, and keeping in mind we've had a couple of cautions in that time frame as well. So a couple of heat cycles on these tires will stiffen up that rubber a bit. They may last a little bit longer, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have all that grip and pace. Still don't see anybody taking rights, but I could be made wrong out of that for sure. Someone might gamble. You never know. The track position can help. But with 34 laps to go, we are approaching some pit stops here relatively soon. We really haven't had a true green flag stop, full pit stop cycle yet. We've had a couple of cautions in the middle. We've had one just before, and then we've had a couple after the fact to break it up in the meantime. But man, Alan Vaught still checking out 1.1, almost 1.2 as he gets out of turn number 4. Vaught tends to drive it deep into the corner, at least right now, on that end of the racetrack. As Pope is able to close the ground on exit, but you see 1.4 seconds in the middle of 1 and 2, almost 1.5. And you'll see that number start to come down in the tower again. So Pope getting a better exit to the corners, Vaught getting a better entry. Now, the way you really do that is everybody has their own point that they pick out on the racetrack as their lift point, or where they're going to turn into the corner, all that. And there's just different reference points on the track. It could be a mark on a catch fence. It could be a light. It could be a flag. It could be a sign. It could be a fan. Who knows? But everybody has a different spot. Now, the difference is some guys may want to back up their entry, which means they're going to lift a little sooner going into the corner than the driver in front of or behind them, which allows them to get back onto the gas on throttle earlier than the guy that drives it deeper into the corner. And that's why you see the difference in pace on the corner exits. In Vaught's case, he's driving it into the corner very deep, so he's sacrificing some straightaway speed. The other side of the coin, Pope, is backing up his entry. He's hammering the throttle a little bit sooner, and he carries more speed down the straightaway. No wrong way to do it, just different methods. But either way, right now, I think it's working out for Alan Vaught as he's got a 1.5 second lead over second place, Tim Pope. Vaught out of turn number 4 will cross the stripe. It'll be 30 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Meanwhile, Mike Adamson's going to hit pit lane here, as maybe some others. Yep, John Osborne, George Rincon. Adamson in the box. I love this paint scheme. So our green flag stops have begun, and when will we see the race leaders take their opportunity to come to pit lane? Do they stretch the fuel all the way to vapor before they come down? Maybe they get the caution before they get that opportunity. I'm sure there's some drivers out there that are a little bit gun shy about heading down pit lane. It seems like every time they do it under green, we get a caution right in the middle of it. Could very easily ruin a race for some of these leaders. Dustin Eaton, Russ Kilgore, Andrew Cawthon in the pits. 16 trucks still on the lead lap for the time being. That may change quite a bit here through this cycle of pit stops. Now Albert Anderson takes the HBR TV number 99 and goes down pit lane here. He'll make his final stop of the day. Right side tires for Anderson. Through around to the left. Last can of Sunoco fuel going in. 4-tire change for Albert Anderson. He's going to drop the jack here. Head back down the road. 14.98 the stop as the race leaders are in pit lane. Alan Vaught, Tim Pope head down for the final time. Four tires for Vaught. 4 tires for Pope. There goes Alan Vaught. He's going to beat Pope out. Other pit stops underway. Larry Dickerson, Kyle Vaught, Scott Roney, and Jacob Young. This player goes around. Current race leader is Dylan Bryant, still needing to make a stop himself. Jack Dixon, John Curtis, the top 3, they all need to make their final pit stop. And Big Roost in the chat, I heard the same thing. I don't know who it was, but yeah, somebody definitely lost a motor there while we were watching that pit stop. May have been a truck idling in the pit box. Typically with these trucks, if they sit there and just idle and idle and idle, they will grenade the engine. Meanwhile, Bryant, Dixon, and Curtis all going to make their stop now with 24 laps to go. Jeremiah Burke may actually inherit the race lead. Burke across the stripe, and there it is. Burke takes the top spot away. A good in and out for the 53 of Burke, making his pit stop lap 101. About 7 laps to go. Total pit lane time for Burke was 43.67 seconds with a fast pit stop of 14.73. Alan Vaught had an identical pit lane time and a faster stop, 14.12. Lightning quick pit stop for Alan Vaught, but he runs in the second position. Tim Pope is finding himself back in the fourth position after the pit stop. Then Osborne running fifth. Burke enjoying a 3.1 second lead over the 33. First laps led today for Burke. See in the distance, about a half straightaway back is the 33. Taking a look at lap times. Last time by for Burke, a 33.32. Alan Vaught getting it done. 33.01. Just about as fast as his fastest lap of the race, which was a 32.98. Just runs a 32.99. Vaught on a mission, trying to reel in Burke. Burke loses connection for a moment. That's not going to help things for him. Take a look at the lap differential between the race leader and Alan Vaught. Quicker still, with 20 laps to go. Alan's going to get there for sure. Again, it's one thing reeling him in, it's another to pass. We'll see how defensive the 53 of Burke gets. It will really depend on how quickly Alan Vaught catches him. Lap truck in between them. It's a 4:34 of Kevin Hunt. Vaught goes to the inside. Right now, Vaught and Pope both faster than the race leader right now. 18 and a half to go. Man, Vaught a half second quicker that time. I still got to hand it to Jeremiah Burke. He's up 24 positions at this stage of the race. Started 25th. In position. He's got the opportunity to pick up a win, but he's going to have to hold off a very fast Alan Vaught to do it. Deficit down to just over half a second now. We'll stop looking at lap times because you can clearly see Alan Vaught reeling in Jeremiah Burke. Coming to 16 laps to go. He's got plenty of time to get there and then make the pass. Worst thing that Alan can do now is push the envelope a little too hard. He knows he's quicker. He's going to get there. Still half a fuel run left before we call this one a race. But he's there. Vaught right to the back bumper, about a tenths, maybe less by the time they get through 3 and 4. In fact, yeah, under 2 tenths into 3 and 4. He's right there, a truck length off the back bumper of Jeremiah Burke, applying pressure for the race lead. Coming to the stripe, 15 laps to go. Burke leads it again, but will he lead the next time by? I don't know, and it doesn't look like it. Vaught going to the inside, down into turn number 1 for the race lead here at Homestead. Might have scraped the wall was Jeremiah Burke, gives up the position very quickly. Vaught retakes the top spot, 14 and a half to go, and here comes Tim Pope. Question remains, will Pope be able to get clear of Burke and then maybe reel in the 33? I think he's running out of time. Last lap for Pope was a bit quicker than Alan Vaught, less than a tenth faster, but still faster. Pope quicker again, but only a couple of hundredths. Deficit back to Pope 1.4, so he's going to need to do better than that to reel in the 33. Watch the battle for the second spot now with 13 laps to go. Tim Pope about a truck length off the back bumper, maybe a truck and a half of the 53. Closes the gap in the middle of the corner, right there now. Off turn number 2. Pope going to set up Burke for the pass here down the straightaway. May have an opportunity in turn 3. He's alongside just enough to not have to tuck back in. Pope goes to the bottom and he'll take over the second spot. Coming to the stripe, it'll be 12 laps to go. Pope lost some ground on the leader in making that pass. We'll see if he can gain it back the next time by. Last lap for the leader, 33.76. Last lap for Pope at 33.83. Not too bad if you consider he was making a pass on the 53 at the time. So we'll see if he's got enough time to reel Vaught back in. Now it's 1.4. Vaught was faster that lap. See if it stays the same this time. No, Vaught almost a tenth slower. Even at a tenth every lap, I don't think Pope's got enough to get there. 10 and a half laps, tenth at a time, that's a second. Alan Vaught still out in front. Dominant performance by Tim Pope in the first half of this race. Hasn't been able to complete it here at this point with 10 to go. It seems like Alan Vaught may be stealing the show. Nine laps to go. Let's go through our top 10. Alan Vaught, your race leader. Tim Pope back in the second spot, trying to reel in that 33. Jeremiah Burke having a stellar day. Started 25th, still inside the top 3. Albert Anderson started 6th, runs 4th. Can't complain about that. But for how long is Andrew Player running in the 5th position, hot on his trail? 6th position is Larry Dickerson. Maintains his spot ahead of Dustin Eaton in 7th. Mike Adamson runs 8th. Dylan Bryan a couple of trucks back in 9th. And John Osborne running the number 81 machine in the 10th spot. Further down the line in 11th, Kyle Vaught in 11th. Russ Kilgore's 12th. Scott Roney in the 13th position. Making some forward progress, up 4 spots from qualifying. Kelly Cool in 14th. George Rincon, 15th. Andrew Cawthon having a moment out of turn number 2. Gathers it back up and continues. Meanwhile, back out front, Allen still leading here and beginning to stretch it again. 1.5 plus the deficit back to Tim Pope. Last lap for Allen was a 33.97. Pope ran a 34.14. Alan Vaught off turn number 4, lacrosse start finish. It'll be 5 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Got a confirmation on the expired engine in the pits. Greg Dobson parked it. He says he forgot to turn it off. And exploded she did. It's a nice thing about iRacing, there's no engine bills. Alan Vaught stretching that lead out yet again, approaching a 2-second advantage over Timothy Pope. Jeremiah Burke has fallen back even further, still in the 3rd spot. Relatively comfortable advantage over Albert Anderson as long as he can maintain. Anderson back about a full second. So Anderson running about 0.2 a lap faster than Burke. We'll see if he can catch him before this one's out. Steal away that podium. Truck pulling way down the bottom of the racetrack. A lap machine making room for the race leaders. I think it was Dave Mayberry. Indeed it was. Anderson's cut it within 0.6 of a second with 2 laps to go. He might get there before this one's over. Alan Vaught, meanwhile, still out in front. Almost a full 2 seconds on Timothy Pope. Lap and a half left. On to turn number 4, Alan Vaught, smooth as glass, crosses the stripe. White flag waves, final lap here from Homestead. Final time down the back straightaway. Alan Vaught started in the 3rd position here today, very quickly contended for the race lead. Didn't really get there until past halfway, but since then has not looked back. He's going to put another win in the column, in the W column, as he crosses the stripe at Miami. Checkered flag, Alan Vaught wins it. Tim Pope will finish in the 2nd spot. Jeremiah Burke hangs on, picks up the 3rd place. And if there's a hard charger award in this league, I would say it's going to go to that number 53. Alan Vaught, your race winner. Top 2 park it here at start finish. I think here comes Jeremiah Burke. He's going to do the same. Alan just parks it here for now. Alan Vogt celebrating here on the front stretch here as we're going to take a step away here, get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging. And to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, round 2 of the playoffs from Homestead for the Vigilante Racing League. Alan Vogt taking the checkered flag. See if we can get a word with our race winner. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. Alan, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I sure do, Steve. How are you this evening?
We're doing good, sir. Congratulations on the race win here tonight. 5th of the season and 3rd in a row. Man, you're on a hot streak. First half of this race, though, you seemed content riding in the tire tracks of Tim Pope. Was it a matter of just taking care of your stuff, picking up a couple of pointers? What was the game plan coming into tonight, and why did that truck come alive there at the last half of this race?
So at the beginning of the race, I didn't want to draw everybody else into the fight. If me and Pope could get away, that was kind of my strategy there. I just want to stay tucked in. If we could get some, get some distance, and we did a couple of times, and we get like 3.5, 4 seconds on 3rd place, and the caution comes out. So, I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, fantastic by all the guys, and I think we only had maybe 2 cautions. It was a really clean race, but that was my strategy there. I wasn't sure if I was going to have pace with Pope, frankly. In the middle of that first run, he did start to pull a little bit. I kind of attribute that maybe because I was in his tracks and scrubbed my front tires a little bit more because a little bit of a push. But yeah, once I got around him, I thought, okay, I got a chance. But if anybody's ever watched Tim Pope, you don't want him behind you. He just seems to track you down. And so I was fortunate tonight to be able to outpace him. A fantastic race by him and all the guys.
It definitely seemed like early on in that run, the later you guys went into the fuel run, Pope was able to put some distance on you both times through both fuel runs, but then it was kind of the same scenario when you got out front. Was clean air really the key to that?
Yeah, I feel like it was. Like I said, I believe that when you're in that chase position or that you're kind of pushing a little bit more and it's rubbing that right front off more than the leader is with that clean air pushing his nose into the asphalt. So I think that one restart while I was able to get around him, that was probably the winning moment for me, frankly.
Certainly worked out. You had to hold him off for one restart after the fact, but you got away with it without a problem. You moved on, never really had to look back after that, and you drive this thing into victory lane. Next week, we roll into Martinsville Speedway, certainly a much different racetrack than what we had in store here tonight. What's the game plan at the short track out at that paperclip in Virginia?
Oh, I can't tell you how relieved I am to win this race. I really wanted this one because I get to go to Phoenix straight away. Because Martinsville, you just don't know what you're going to get. I would love to go and run well there and maybe secure some more playoff points by getting the win. But I don't think I'm that lucky to be able to get 4 in a row. And there's some really great short track racers in this league. I can hold my own, but I don't. There's some really kind of specialists in here. So my game plan, honestly, at this point, is to have a little bit of fun and be able to relax, having secured my position at Phoenix in the Final Four.
Being able to relax at Martinsville, I'd say there's not too much that's better than that. Alan, congratulations again on the win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, my smoking hot wife, man, Lori, she's the heart of VRL. We couldn't do this league without her. She does not only for me, she does all the admin. I'm just a competitor, and I love that. And I love her. So, and then my son Kyle, he got to come up here and do some burnouts with me, and his fiance Taylor up there cheering for me, and him up there in Chicago. And then, of course, my team, Dave Mayberry, Kelly Kuhl, Greg Klein, the members of this league. Man, what a league. I couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys. Just personality, everything, driving skill, the whole 9 yards. And then thanks to you, Steve, for highlighting our league and coming on board for the rest of this season into the future. I think it's going to be a fantastic partnership, buddy.
Certainly excited for it myself. I appreciate you guys bringing us in. Should be pretty good, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great, outstanding, man. You have a great night.
Alan, thanks you too. Congratulations again, and good luck next week.
Thank you. See you.
It's Alan Vaught, your race winner here at Homestead. Next, we're going to talk to our buddy Tim Pope, the driver of the number 7 machine. Pull Tim into the broadcast booth. Tim, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
You.
Tim, congratulations, man. I know you put this truck on pole tonight. Fast out of the box, but just not quite enough. Just one short of taking home the victory tonight. What do you think was the difference maker, and anything maybe you could have done differently to reel in Alan?
Nah, not really. Once you get behind somebody there, dirty air, you just lose the nose and you start burning your tires off and you start fading. So really nothing you can do, just ride around.
We figured that the dirty air was the biggest culprit to it because we saw in that first half of the race you were able to not only keep the lead in front of Alan, but then drive away later on in the run. Did your truck kind of come to life on lighter fuel?
Nah, it stayed about the same. Just pretty much whoever gets out in front, you just about wins it.
Good thing about next week at Martinsville Speedway, don't need to worry too much about clean or dirty air. How do you feel about your chances at the short track at Martinsville?
Not too good. I hate that place.
All right. Well, Tim, a nice run here tonight at Homestead. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Everybody on ADY, Jess and Lori for putting the races on, and you guys for taking over broadcasting.
All right, Tim. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
It's Tim Pope, your runner-up here at Homestead. Next, we're going to talk to driver the number 53 Toyota. That's going to be Jeremiah Burke. Strong run here tonight. Not so much a strong run in qualifying as he started 25th, but man, he drove that thing through the field. Definitely a hard charger tonight. Finishes in 3rd. Jeremiah, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Steve.
Jeremiah, congratulations, man. As we said, a 3rd place finish after starting deep in the field. What was the key tonight, or did you just have a mistake in qualifying?
I actually had a penalty. I had some equipment failure last weekend, actually, that took me out of the playoffs and everything. And so I had a penalty for causing some incidents last week due to some blinking. So got my computer all rebuilt, got a new router, got new cables. I redid everything. But yeah, I got an EOL to start out the race, and just had to drive through there. Homestead's usually one of my best tracks, so I just I buckled down and drove up to the front a couple times. I got stuck on that first caution too, so I was real happy to end up with a third. I really would have liked one more caution there at the end when I was leading. I think I could, if I could have got the clean air at the end, I think I could have got it. But hey, I'll take the third after starting where I did, and congratulations to Jess and Tim. They're always super tough here, and I had a blast racing tonight.
Well, you mentioned the dirty versus clean air. We talked to the top two. They both had comments on that as well, but you coming from as deep in the field as you did, how difficult was it on the truck being in dirty air? Were you sliding the nose a lot? Did it really affect the tire wear?
Oh yeah, it was rough. I practice here a lot. I ran a lot of officials, and never really had that many trucks in my lane. In the officials, they all like to top, but a lot of guys have found that running the bottom is the key to getting around here quick. And a lot of them were running, and it was getting tough. I got past a few of them. If I could pass them quick on a restart, we were good. And then it just, as the run went on, I started losing the nose more and more, and then I overcompensate and try to do a big arc, and I start losing the rear as well. And it's wait for the next set of tires and try to do it again.
Well, with all that said, as I said to Tim Pope, we don't need to worry about clean or dirty air at Martinsville Speedway, but you mentioned how you run really well here. We know that Alan Vaught doesn't need to worry too much about Martinsville as he's locked into Phoenix. Tim Pope not real thrilled about Martinsville next week. What's your take on the short track?
You know what? I really like Martinsville. I like driving there. We haven't raced there in VRL in actually quite a while, so I'm not sure what we're going to expect. I'm sure we're not going to be as clean as we were the last few weeks, but I'm hoping there I can just get a good qualifying and stay up front, and get through to Phoenix, which is by far my favorite track. So I just want a good clean run next week and then get to Phoenix.
Well, Jeremiah, congratulations on the solid run here tonight, third place. We certainly wish you the best next week. Is there anyone you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to first give a shout out to you for hopping on board. I watched some old broadcasts. It looks great. I'm happy to have you. Of course, Jess and Lori putting on this great league. This is a bunch of fun. I'd like to shout out Lori and say I'm okay. And then, of course, my kids, they like to watch the race. So Mara and Elena, I don't know if they're watching right now, but they might watch it later. They put up with this while Dad's racing in the back room. And they give me my space. So, of course, everybody else in this league we race with. I mean, I wouldn't rather race with any other group of guys every week. This is great fun, and this has been one of the best seasons we've had in a while.
Well, certainly looking forward to more with a couple of left this season, and then, of course, the future coming into 2025. Jeremiah, thanks for talking to us again. Congratulations on the third place finish, and good luck next week going forward.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Too. Jeremiah Burke, your third place finisher here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Next, we're going to take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top three already. Alan Vaught, Tim Pope, Jeremiah Burke were your top three. Albert Anderson came home in the fourth position. Fifth place was Andrew Player. Larry Dickerson was sixth. Mike Adamson, seventh. Dylan Bryant was eighth. Dustin Eaton was ninth. 10th went to Jonathan Osborne. 11th, Kyle Vaught. Russ Kilgore, 12th. Scott Roney was 13th. Kelly Cool, 14th. George Rincon, 15th. Jack Dixon was 16th. 17th finisher was Andrew Cawthon. 18th went to John Curtis. 19th place finisher, Stoney Benfield. 20th went to Jacob Young. 21st finisher was John Gallagher. 22nd was Joe Canellis. Kevin Hunt was 23rd. Dave Mayberry, 24th. 25th to Jason Gaines. Greg Dobson was 26th. 27th, John McAdam. Greg Klein, 28th. And Ben Richards, last but not least, did not take the green flag here tonight. He'll be credited with the 29th position. That'll wrap it up for us here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Again, congratulations to Alan Vaught, Tim Pope, Jeremiah Burke, your top three finishers here tonight. Certainly looking forward to next Wednesday here at HBR TV for our second race with VRL, Martinsville Speedway. Tune in same time, about 8:45 in the East. You should be able to find us live at that point of the evening with green flag action, late practice, qualifying, all the good stuff being covered here. About 8:50 is when we'll actually see some on track. So with that, again, thank you guys all for tuning in. Check us out, youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up, the like button on this video tonight, please do so. It does help us immensely. And of course, it's free to do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.